Hey, Critic Boxers. This is Jarrod, and we're here talking about the movie Threads that came out in 1984 in England. It was partially financed by the BBC. Threads. I just watched it on Saturday. This is, you could call it a horror movie. It's a tragedy, but this is a horror movie that hits. Because I watched Smile after I watched Threads, and that was a horror movie. But it, like any horror movie, like, oh, that, monster isn't real. Or you're watching Pennywise, or It, like, oh, Pennywise isn't real, zombies, vampires, whatever. This is a movie that they actually asked scientists, doctors, architects, warfare. Carl Sagan was credited as a thanks in this movie because in 1984 they did their homework and said, I want a realistic movie about what would happen if there was a nuclear war and it attacked England. And this, I'm not going to say this, imagine this is an informative movie put to a narrative. That's the only way I can explain this. Okay, hold on. Let me see. There's a premise, and I'm going to do it in its native language. The effects of a nuclear holocaust on the working class city of Sheffield, England, and the eventual long-term effects of nuclear war on civilization. So, this movie, I just happened to see it on Shudder. You can find it on YouTube. How could I explain this movie? It hits uncomfortably, okay? It's called Threads because it's basically you're going to be watching as this woman just rips the wallpaper off that wall. The threads of society slowly, one at a time, unwinding as it comes. So it begins with a couple of families, some people, young couple gets pregnant, they gotta move out. There's older family with the younger kids, other people, whatever. It's Sheffield, England. And it's just people hanging about for about, you could say 15, 20, 30 minutes, a slow burner of, at one point my wife said, this is a horror movie, right? I'm like, yeah. Slow burner that turns into a boil, because in the background of this story is diplomacy is breaking down. Russia and the U.S. in the Cold War, tensions high, invasions happening in different cities, and it's in the background. It's a radio broadcasting this. You catch it on a TV newspaper. You hear people talking about it in the salon. They're just, it's loosely affiliated, and it puts you into enough of a bubble with the characters where you're just picking up vaguely on what's going on. Of like, okay, tensions are happening, it's increasing. And then all of a sudden, an atomic bomb gets dropped on Sheffield, England. And it is chaos. So even before it gets to that, it's again, people living there, oh, you're having a baby, this time we're in a recession, because this is 1984, this is Ronald Reagan era, this is Margaret Thatcher era. Not a happy time in England, very dull, very, dry, conservative recession going on, and then people start getting panicky. You start seeing like, oh, shelves are getting emptied in grocery stores. Oh, prices are going up for this and that. And then chaos happens within a day, and they're like, oh my God, war's about to break out. Grocery stores start jacking up prices. I'm sorry, right? Can't think about that today, right? And so prices start get jacked up, whatever. There's runs on banks. There's runs on the grocery stores. People aren't coming to work anymore because what's the point? So society, like the threads of society start unraveling. And then I said, the bomb hits. And it is a bad nuclear bomb. I mean, like you would have, the worst possible way a nuclear bomb could hit, as in it hits the ground, sucks up all the dirt, nuclear fallout, hits the wind, blows this way. It is the most realistic, I think it's been told, one of the most realistic portrayals of what would happen to everyday people if this situation started escalating. Things in society start unraveling. You start seeing signs, things are going on. People are trying to leave the city. There's gridlock. People can't get anywhere. There's people who are in the city. They're screwed because they're running out of supplies and all this. It turns into chaos. And then it goes a couple weeks in the future, a couple years in the future, like 15 years in the future. And it also cuts to the real heroes of this movie are the local government officials who are holed up in a bunker. They're the ones that are they've left their families to try to keep society going. They're like, what resources do we have? How do we get in touch with this one? How do we do this, do that, whatever. The head governor of the area, whatever, dies. So it's the other like community, like people who are working for it. It is everybody doing everything right and still not succeeding. It is a terrifying movie. I'm going to read you a couple quotes. This one's from Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian. He said, "A masterpiece. It wasn't until I saw Threads that I found that something on screen could make me break out in a cold, shivering sweat and keep me in that condition for 20 minutes, followed by weeks of depression and anxiety." And this is one of my favorite ones. Where was it? Jonathan Hatfield. Oh yeah, Jonathan Hatfield of Sci-Fi Now. Perfect score. He said, "No one ever forgets the experience of watching Threads. It is arguably the most devastating piece of television ever produced. It's perfectly crafted, totally human, and so completely harrowing, you'll think that you'll probably never want to watch it again." And that's exactly how I would review Threads. I felt, again, give me Pennywise, give me zombies, give me this and that, what demons to fight, whatever, like supernatural. I can find that, and then I can resign that to the back of my head. This is a real movie about what really could happen and could have happened if there was a nuclear disaster. It is a real, and it was made for TV. That's the thing. It was made for it's a made-for-TV movie meant to be on the network. Like, hey, here's your 7 o'clock. After this is the news. Like, it is a depressing and amazing movie. It won so many BAFTA awards for Best Single Drama, Best Design, Best Film Cameraman, Best Film Editor. It was nominated for costumes, makeup, sound, all of this. A movie that most of us have not heard of if you weren't alive during that time. And there was an American version of this, by the way, that came out the year before. It's called The Day After. It stars Steve Guttenberg. But this one, we're talking about Threads. So you can watch that one on YouTube. You can watch Threads on YouTube. Highly recommend Threads 1984. You're going to feel depressed and awed and amazed at this movie. All right. If you want a movie that hits you and scares you in a very different way, this is one of them. I love older movies that have been forgotten, and I get to like blow the dust off of it and show it to you now. Threads 1984. Beautiful movie. I'm Jarrod. Please like, subscribe, Critic Box. If you've seen this movie, hit me up in the comments section. If you got to watch it live on TV in 1984, or when they finally showed it in 1985, and they say they're pretty sure Ronald Reagan confirmed that he saw this movie too, and he was like, ooh. So let me know what you think about it in the comments section. I'm Jarrod. This is Critic Box, watching movies and letting you know about it. We'll see you next time.